It's been a while, so I just thought I'd come in and quickly update. Um, we did our IUI Monday. Felt fine. It went normal. The best thing about it was not only did I have the largest follicles I've ever had to date, I had one on each side. They were about a 30 each, and then on the left side, I had another one that at ultrasound had been a 17, so it was probably about a 23 at that point. And then my husband's sample was the best he's ever given. Almost all numbers were normal. There wasn't anything crazy. It was just, and then the night before, I had taken an ovulation test and gotten a positive. Like the last 2 cycles, I'm pretty sure I ovulated like 3 days later than we thought. But this one, no denying. It was at the right time. The sample was good. The eggs were good. This was awesome. So they get in there to do the IUI, and I have the nurse doing it. And she says, not trying to be TMI, but if you're watching this, then you probably want details and know about this. She's like, oh, there's a lot of mucus. This is a good sign. You're probably about to ovulate. And I'm like, yes. So she goes ahead and she puts it in, and then at my doctor's office, they do a little bit of acupuncture, just like 3 little needles that are kind of down by your belly button. Nothing big. It's supposed to help blood flow. I'm like, might as well. What's it gonna hurt? So we do the IUI. We'll lay there, do the normal thing, wait, and then we leave. And we're on the other side of town. And I said to my husband, do you mind if we stop at like a craft store until, or before we get home, because these aren't by us. So we end up going to like 3. I was fine, feeling fine. This is not my first IUI. So by the time I get home, my stomach muscles are starting to hurt. Like I've done like 100 sit-ups. Like I'd never had that before, but I didn't think anything about it. So I thought, well, I'm just going to take a quick nap because on the side I do make custom like masks and shirts and stuff with my Cricut. And I was going to sell a mask to a lady. So I laid down. I had about 2 hours. I took a 2-hour nap because I figure might as well rest. Just had the IUI, you know. I wake up and I've never felt anything, well, similar, but not like this. So I couldn't stand straight. My stomach felt like I had done 1,000 sit-ups. My ovaries were swollen. I've heard people talk about being bloated. I thought I understood what that meant, but no, I have never felt this. The closest I've ever felt to this was when I was on Clomid, like back in like 2013 or 14. And it never made me ovulate, but it swelled my ovaries really bad. And if I needed to go to the bathroom, whether it was 1 or 2, I had to go immediately because it was painful. This, I couldn't laugh. I couldn't stand. I could barely walk. Sitting was awful. Laying was awful. If I had to go to the bathroom, I had to go immediately because it hurt. I mean, it was bad. But like a trooper, I still drove and dropped those masks off, and then I came home, curled up on a heating pad, and went to bed. I didn't call the doctor because I'm thinking, well, maybe like because that sample was the best it's ever been. I'd heard or read about when you have an IUI, one side effect can be when they put in the sample, since it's close to the top anyway, it can actually go through the tubes and bypass the ovaries. And I'm thinking, maybe it was such a good sample, it bypassed the ovaries and irritated them. I don't know. So the next day, it was a little better. It was still pretty bad. I could stand up a little bit. I could sit. I had to go to the bathroom immediately. Still couldn't hold it. If I needed to pass gas, I couldn't hold it because of the pressure. It was bad. Still couldn't laugh, couldn't cough. My one friend who's been through fertility kept saying, you need to call. And I'm like, no, this is probably normal. So then the next day, that was Wednesday, it was now down to just my left ovary. And my left ovary, sorry, this video is kind of long. My left ovary is kind of twisted on top of my uterus. It's not where it's blocking the flow or me ovulating because HSG showed that it's still clear, but it's still kind of squished. And so I just assumed maybe it was still hurting because it was kind of squished anyway. But I suddenly remembered at my old fertility doctor, one of the nurses made a comment, hey, if you ever have this, or this, any kind of like pain or any discomfort, please call us because it could be hyperstimulation and we need to know because that can be dangerous. Once I remembered that, I panicked. I called my doctor. I left a voicemail. The nurse called back a couple hours later and she's like, go through what happened. So I explained it from day 1 to now, which was 3 days at this point. And she goes, yeah, I think it was probably hyperstimulation. And I'm like, well, isn't that where you have too many eggs, like when you're doing IVF? And she said, well, a lot of times, yes. She said, but you have to remember you had 2 of the biggest follicles we've ever seen in your chart. And on top of that, you had a smaller one on the left side, and it's kind of squished already. So that can be hyperstimulation too. She said, I'm not trying to say you're pregnant. She said, but a lot of times when I see this happening, it's favorable for pregnancy. And I was like, yes, so I'll go through this pain again. But at that point, I was still kind of having, sorry, my nose is itching. I was still kind of having trouble coughing, or not coughing, laughing. I could stand straight at this point. I could sit, but if I was driving and went over a speed bump, which I did, that I had forgot was there, oh, bad. But it was all my left ovary, nothing with my right. Why is it when I start talking, my nose gets itchy? Anyway. So then she's like, well, I need you to call me every day. I don't want you to lift more than 10 pounds. I don't want you to twist. I don't want you to bend over. No intercourse, no up or down stairs. Basically, just light movement. She said, because if you flare this back up, you can actually cause your ovary to inflame, twist, and then you end up in emergency surgery with possibly losing an ovary. She said, if that happens, the pain you're going to be in, you're not going to be able to talk. So I had flashbacks of my back surgery because I do have back issues. And my last back surgery, I didn't talk for 3 days because of pain. She scared the heck out of me. So that was Wednesday. Today is Saturday. I'm almost 100% back to normal. I still have a little pain in the left, and by the end of the night I can tell it's sore again, but not like anything crazy. The bathroom is fine. The only time that's irritating, and like I said, not being TMI, but the only time it's irritating is if I have to pass gas. If I hold it, it's like you can feel the bubble. But I'm not allowed to have intercourse. I'm still supposed to abide by the rules for at least 2 to 3 weeks. So either I get a period, or she said if I am pregnant, that this could be a couple weeks into the pregnancy. I told her, I was like, today's my anniversary. And she's like, you know what I said? Pretend it's not for 2 weeks. But anyway, so that's what happened. Sorry this is a long video, but I just wanted to get this down and let people know about it if they'd never had it. At this point, like I said, other than having to pass gas, I'm not really, a little bit when I'm driving, if I'm like crazy and I hit some kind of speed bump going crazy, which I'm not really, but and then by the end of the night, I can still tell it's there, but every day is better. So I'm supposed to test around the 8th. And that's really all I have at this point. So if you have any questions, comment below or just keep watching and I'll keep you guys updated. Sorry for the long, in between, but not much was really happening except for that. Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your weekend. Bye.